This is a quick little video that you can use to follow along to get a bit of work done for the hamstrings. The video I have kind of directed is specific for climbers, given that we're looking at the ability to improve this kind of high leg position in that kind of situation. However, this could really be applicable for anyone that wants to do a bit of work on their hamstrings. So you'll need a ball and somewhere that you can put your leg up. What we're going to do first with the ball is we're going to pop it under the foot. So I'm just going to work on the right foot here, and I'm going to go under the toes and just move side to side. So what we're going to do with the ball first is just get into the idea that doing a bit of work on the fascia also helps us to remove some of this tightness along this whole line from our foot to our hip. So, you know, we could easily spend a few minutes just on doing some of this sort of work, but you could always pause this and stop and do it and come back to it. We're also just going to run along the foot here and go inside, outside, and then we're going to go toe on the ground in front of the heel. And so you do that on both feet. We can also get at the top of the hamstring here, so under the hip, and just sitting on a bench here, you could just do some movements of the leg. So move side to side here. And again, you could easily spend a minute or so here just getting into the other end of the leg. Also like to get the ball behind the knee here and squeeze back here, move the toes up and down, feet side to side, and that would be our work with the ball. Now what we're going to do is look to stretch through the hamstring, making sure that we're getting the hamstring in 3 dimensions. Let's use the bench here since it's already here. And what we're going to do first is we're going to come forward towards the foot, but we're making sure that we can do this. We can anteriorly tilt our pelvis, because the point of any stretch is making sure the joints move away from one another, whether it's static, dynamic, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to come here and pull my pelvis into anteriorly tilt. Now with that in mind, we can also bend the knee here, and we can really work that anterior tilt a bit harder and start to close that space between our tummy and our leg. So increasing our hip flexion here. Now what we can do is point our toe out. We're going to let the little toe turn towards the bench. I'm just going to turn in here a bit, and I'm going to actually move my hip this way. So you'll notice I'm also dropping my left hip and hiking my right. So I'm going to little toe out, drop my right. And I'm also going to look to try and push the hip towards you here. So I'd hold each of these for around a minute. And then we're going to go the other way. I'll do this on the right leg so it's easier to see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to look to create more distance laterally here. I'm going to turn and pop my hip out towards you. So this is my right side. I'm moving my hip to the right. And then I'm going to hinge at my hip a bit and come forward. So again, hold each of these for around a minute. Now in the Not Really Yoga system, most of these would be a phase 1 strategy. I'm going to show you a couple of other ideas you can do with the isometric here. So this could also be done in the gym on the wall, just coming up to a hold that's probably a little bit higher than what you can normally lift your knee and get onto. What we're going to do is come into a position where we're kind of at our end range here. And we're going to push the heel in the ground and curl it back towards our hip. And as you do that, you should be able to feel some of the hamstrings contract, generally in the middle here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down here, hold for about 30 seconds, push the heel down, curl it back, hold that for 10 seconds, and then drop a little more. You'll also start to get a stretch on the opposing hip here. Then we're going to bring those same angles in. We're going to turn a little bit and try and get the outside. Turn the other way, get the inside. Now we can also bring this into like a slow descending here and get this contraction at different angles, because isometrics research has shown that they're fairly specific to the angles that we train at. So we want to get it through this range. And this is going to help to increase our strength through this full range as we kind of come into these high leg positions. Now, another thing we could work with is generally a phase 4 strategy that we use in Not Really Yoga is explosive isometrics. So we could come into this position, and what we're looking to do is push down as hard as we can, as quick as we can, even just for a second. So we're driving in, and this is meant to be as hard as you can and as quick as you can. It's not much to look at, but you certainly start to feel it. And research has shown that is actually can be as beneficial as doing plyometric work in terms of increasing our explosiveness. So certainly increasing the ability to do dynamic moves from a high leg position. So that's just a few quick ideas on how you can do a bit of climbing specific work for the hamstrings, improving that higher leg position. If you have any questions, please comment, and please subscribe, like, share, do all of that stuff. Thank you.